Need computer training for a group or office? Contact us today to get a free demo of our training at www.teachucomp.com/enterprise-licensing.
You can also assign cost resources to tasks within your project file. Just as when assigning material resources, when you assign cost resources, they have no effect on the scheduling of the tasks. You can assign cost resources to a task to indicate costs incurred to complete a task. This allows you to better track indirect project costs, such as client entertainment or business travel. When you assign a cost resource to a task, you enter a fixed dollar amount to assign to the task. This amount assigned to the task will not change unless you manually edit it at a later point in time. The most reliable way to assign cost resources is by using the Assign Resources dialog box. By default, you cannot see the cost column within the task form view that appears at the bottom of the Gantt chart view when the window is split, so you cannot easily use that view for the necessary cost entry that must be made. You can open the Assign Resources dialog box by selecting the task in the Gantt chart view to which you want to assign a cost resource, and then clicking the Assign Resources button in the Assignments button group on the Resource tab in the ribbon, or pressing Alt plus F10 keys on your keyboard. Next, enter the amount to allocate to the cost resource within the Cost column for the selected cost resource within the Assign Resources dialog box. When you're finished, click the green check mark that appears in the cell entry bar within the dialog box, or simply exit the cell after entering the amount. That will automatically assign the cost resource, so you do not need to click the Assign button. When you're finished, simply click the Close button in the Assign Resources dialog box to close the dialog box when you're finished. Alternately, but not necessarily recommended for new users, you can click into the next blank row under the Resource Name column for the selected task that appears in the task form view of the Gantt chart view, and then select the name of the cost to use. However, in order to see the cost column, you need to change the default view shown in the task form view. If you right-click your mouse within the task form view, you can select the Cost command from the pop-up menu that appears to change the view of the task form table and then display the cost column. You can then enter the amount to attribute to the cost resource within this column. Just be sure to click the OK button within the task form when you've finished your data entry to save your assignments. To switch the task form back to its default view, right-click within the task form view and then select Resources and Predecessors from the pop-up menu that appears. While this may be a much faster way to enter assignment data for advanced users, note that switching views within the split window pane may leave new users lost and confused, possibly staring at the wrong data entry views when first learning to use Microsoft Project. So for new users, it may be better to use the Assign Resources dialog box, as it doesn't alter the view of the project when it's used, and tends to be easier for new users to learn to use than switching the views of selected panes can be.
Like what you see? Get a free demo of our training for groups of 5 or more at www.teachucomp.com/enterprise-licensing.